Hi, I'm Violet, a mildly feral bunny girl from ancient times wandering around in modern times. Not all those who wander are lost, but I am. Can I get a taxi to the nearest Aetherite?
And I'm Houka, the Ellison of wealth and taste. I may have stolen many a man's soul and faith, but you can't prove anything.
Welcome to the Eorzean Update, a discussion podcast for the HJP Podcast Network, breaking down the behind-the-scenes details about Final Fantasy XIV Online, the award-winning MMORPG with free trial that goes all the way up to Stormblood, allowing you to play through level 70.
Today's discussion, we'll be talking about the latest patch and deep dungeons. And more deep dungeons. Possibly Monster Hunter, but more deep dungeons. So stay tuned.
Probably.
Probably, most likely.
Okay, so let's get into okay, so 7.35 dropped just a few days ago. We've had some time to get into the content, get deep into the content. Yeah,
Whoa.
what? As a special aside, before we get too far into this, I am going to go ahead and hopefully people will be aware of this by the time that the podcast comes out. I don't know, but our next event in game is going to be All Saints Wake. The special site for it is already up. It's going from 10/17 until 11/4. So coming up very soon. It's called the Friends and Fiends Behind the Scenes.
Ooh.
The NPCs from Dawn Trail are making a special appearance. So if you haven't done your role quest from Dawn Trail, you might want to get on that so you know who some of these wonderful people are.
They are awesome. They're really awesome.
I love them. I love them all so much. All right, so the Yellow Quest, Frights of Fancy in Gridania at Niketo's Amphitheater is going to be the quest you pick up that starts the quest line. This year, we are getting a mount version of what was the Pumpkin Butler minion that we got from several years ago, as well as a wall hanging of the poster from last year's event, which it looks gorgeous. It's amazing. It's going in my basement.
Really good. It's really good.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about, there were a few things that were big, major drops for content. The one that I am, of course, all into is the Deep Dungeon, Pilgrim's Traverse, and the one that you got down into was
the Monster Hunter event crossover.
So how have you been enjoying your Monster Hunter event?
Which one? I've been doing both in both Final Fantasy XIV and in Monster Hunter, and so gotten the boss down in 14, have not been Omega yet in Monster Hunter. So I've been beating my head against the wall in Monster Hunter to try to take down Omega. I've been looking at different strats, what weapons to use. And all that stuff, and so I got pretty close the other day, and by meaning pretty close, I got to the third phase where where Omega was about to use his special beam, and you had to stand inside of the shield bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, it was a wreck, and so.
I don't know how any of this goes. I'll be honest with you. I would be super down to watch you, and I know that we have a lot of members of the HJP community who are very into Monster Hunter, and there's been a lot of Monster Hunter activity lately, and it's been fun to watch when I can watch it. And I'm not a Monster Hunter fan myself, but I do like watching people play games that they enjoy, and especially things like Monster Hunter. Looks like a lot of fun. I did get some clears on the normal. I have one attempt under my belt for the extreme, and I'm so happy. I got 2 new minions.
Yay!
From a pile, and then I got a new mount. Can we talk about like the cutest part of this though? So I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but if you are a Monster Hunter fan, there are Easter eggs galore, from what I gather.
Yes. Depending on what you consider as an Easter egg.
Where there's like isn't there like a little thing at the camp where you get the food buff, and then there's oh, the one thing I will say, even if Monster Hunter's not your deal, if you love doing G pose, downing this boss is possibly the coolest G pose, like as a kill, because they actually leave the boss there
Yes.
and you can climb over the dragon's body. We
Yes.
got the coolest G pose shot.
See, and this is the one thing that the first event did not have, that you could not climb on top of Ragnaros and whatnot. So the fact
Right.
that, because you can climb on top of the boss in Monster Hunter, straight up, you can climb up,
Oh.
and take the scales, whatever the gathering items that you get from the monsters, you can do that. The fact that you can do it in this one, where you can just climb on top and whatnot, and take the most epic G poses, is fantastic. Absolutely love it. Recommend. 10 out of 10. Go and do it just to get the best G pose shot that you can on it and whatnot. Aside from all the other items that you can get in the game as well, but you can get the most epic G pose shot ever.
Oh my
Uh,
god. Yeah, I would say honestly the fight is tough though. It is tough. But it's so much fun to do with we at the end of Fight Club this past week, we decided to gather everybody together and we're like, "Hey, we all happen to have level 100 characters. How do we feel about trying to take on the new Monster Hunter just to kind of get like some fun stuff to do together?"
mhm.
And because we actually wound up downing Nidhogg, which was our fight this week, pretty quickly. We finally had progged. It took us three events to prog through that fight. That fight is tough. Um and it's from Heaven's Worth. Nidhogg's Rage. I highly suggest, if you've never done it, it will teach you so much to go do that fight. So we got together and we went and we did the new Monster Hunter event. I think I got one of the most epic screenshots I've ever gotten in this game after that clear. It was so good.
It's so good. The lighting, the setting, and everything is it's a G poser's dream to take a screenshot after
How
that
close
fight.
to the feeling of taking down Arkveld is it for you?
Comparing Final Fantasy XIV and Monster Hunter,
Yeah.
I think I have a much lesser frustration in 14 than I did with in WoW, because in WoW you don't really have like a marker per se to when
Right.
what the monster's gonna do. Well, aside from Omega, he does it like briefly what he's about to do, but like it's so fast though. It's not like, hey, I'm gonna about to do this. You have time to move out of the way. No, it's like Omega's like, I'm about to do this, and I'm about to do it in like half a second. So you better move.
Oh,
So
wow.
no, yeah, it's quick. The next time I attempt Omega, I probably will stream it though. Just so people can see it.
Hey, give us a little warning so I can make sure that we can get as many people get
Oh,
eyeballs
I
on it, because
will.
that's gonna be so fun. I would love to see it.
No,
I'll take my
I will.
Dramamine just for you, Houka.
But no, comparing the two fights though, I at first I was getting a bit frustrated because of one of the mechanics that he does. It's like, what am I looking at? Why is there so many things going on the screen? Where am I supposed to stand? And so, even I was playing even as a machinist, and like I thought I would have time to move and whatnot. No, it was like, here's a spot, and off it went. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's an adrenaline junkie fight, let me
It
tell you.
is,
It is a
and I
lot.
love it.
It's it's so much fun. Um I have been so excited about all of the content that has come down the line for this. I have been absolutely enthralled with the Monster Hunter stuff. So, one of the things that's very cool about the new Monster Hunter thing that I love that they changed. Okay, so one of the things that used to make the old Monster Hunter crossover event such a frustration to deal with is you had to not only remember to grab your scales off of the dragon, because
Hmm.
that's a mechanic from Monster Hunter, right? Where you have
Yes.
to skin the dragon essentially.
Yes.
Okay. But also you would have to wait for, especially in the extreme, um, drops for the mount, and we would have to like loot table drops and stuff like that. They fixed all this. They fixed it. It's so great. Every single time you go in to do that fight, you get a weapon coffer. It drops into your inventory. You don't even have to roll for it.
No,
It's a guarantee.
and the one nice thing that you even mentioned to me the other day is that it's stackable. It doesn't take up too much inventory spots. It's stackable.
Exactly. That's the part that blew me away, was that they had finally decided to make all of those weapon coffers stackable. And I'm going to tell you right now, if they need to stick with that. That is such a
Yes.
wonderful idea,
Add
especially
that.
for anything you add it into the game. Just add it
Add
into the
it
game.
to the main game right now. That's a feature I did not know I needed until that happened. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Where was this
Right?
the entire time?
We're so used to, we get a coffer and it's both unique and it just keeps taking up space in our
Yeah.
inventory. And even for rollable ones, I'm sorry, but just especially for mount for, can you just imagine the change that would make for mount farming and how much faster it would go? Like,
Oh
I'm
my
fine with
goodness.
rolling on those. I definitely want to roll, but don't make it unique. Like, just let it stack. Because
Yes.
when we're repeating content, like, we're gonna wind up with that stuff stacking up. I don't wanna have to stop every single time to decide what I'm gonna do with that coffer. Let me wait until later.
Yeah,
Just such a
exactly.
beautiful idea. Just a beautiful little idea that
I
got
mean,
put in, and I love it.
I don't want to play inventory management every single time I go through some sort of
Right?
raid, dungeon, or anything like that, and where we get a unique coffer, and I have to sit there and stare at it. I'm like, do I really need this? Do I? And then look, keep on staring at it for like a few minutes just to decide whether or not I want to keep
And the
it.
worst thing is when you're in a farm party, like, people don't wait.
Oh yeah,
Nobody wants to waste time in a farm party. They wanna go. Get it
yeah.
done.
Go
I
go
want my
go.
mount. I want my stuff. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
No, I agree
So,
with you. It's add this please to the game.
right? The minions are super cute. I, of course, immediately bought them and stuffed them into my minion chest. So
Nice.
I'm it closing in on that 500 mark for 500 minions. I'll get there, I
Ooh.
promise. I
Eventually.
don't have a problem. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, not a problem at all. No, not at all.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying with the HAP community, especially trying to go in and do the extreme fight. I don't know when we'll be able to get people to do it, but again, it's permanent content, so it is something that you will be able to find from here on out. It will
Yes,
exist.
but I want to face it now because like I enjoyed the regular fight as it is, so I'm
Mhm.
really excited to see how the extreme version is going to be because I would have joined you guys through
Right.
Fight Club one now but I was fighting a headache, so I'm
Oh,
like,
it's not, take care of
no,
yourself. That's
yeah, I know.
that's the most important part.
I
But
got through
here's the one thing I did
I
wanna
got through
ask
Fight
you.
Club. I got through Fight Club and the Monster Hunter fight. While fighting the headache, I'm like,
then
okay,
then lost the fight to the headache. I understand
yeah,
how that goes. All right, so
exactly.
you are the authority here. You have to tell me, how does this fight, like, feeling wise, like epicness, like, how does this entire crossover event compare to how it is in Monster Hunter?
I've been enjoying it. Um, fighting both both the same monster both in Final Fantasy 14 and in Monster Hunter. My frustration with him still lies in Monster Hunter because it's just how like in 14 you don't get the sense of like how big this monster is until you
Right.
face him into wild. Then you can see like just the sheer scale of like why like I have my frustration with him because of just how massive this monster is. But
Right.
I really enjoy it. It's not like the first Monster Hunter event where it's like they try to throw in a Monster Hunter fight into 14 where you can't aggro him or anything of that nature and whatnot. So like you said, like the last episode, they brought a Monster Hunter boss into a Final Fantasy world where we are able to like
But
aggro,
they
heal.
FF14 to
Yeah,
fight it,
yeah,
basically.
exactly,
They made it for 14,
exactly.
which, oh god, I cannot tell you how much I love this fight so much more than the previous Stormblood Monster Hunter crossover. The Monster Hunter I've enjoyed it. It was fun. I loved dealing with the hunters and the Palico and all that super cute. Monster Hunter as a franchise seems really interesting. And I like watching other people play it. Can't really play it myself because I have few vertigo issues with certain games. But I've tried it. I've tried it. I've tried it several times. I've tried it on several different platforms, and it is just not a game that clicks with me very well. But I can watch other people play it okay, so because I get a chance to like look away from the screen.
Yeah,
But the new one, that fight is so fun. It just feels so good because it feels like being in a Final Fantasy 14 fight.
it certainly
So,
does. And so it was like that's where it's like, okay, if they did it the old way, right? That fight would have been
uh-huh.
so much more frustrating than it would have been
Oh
more
yeah.
frustrating and more harder because of the sheer mechanics that he does and whatnot. So imagine not holding aggro and he's targeting random people at will and everything like that.
Oof.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that we did actually get to hold aggro and we
Exactly.
could actually tank it properly.
And
That was
heal
really nice.
and able to heal after a certain point as well. So it's like it's not like the first fight like after you go to the second phase and now you're not able to heal and you have to rely on your potion and whatnot. Using your potion is
Like they
still
do
ideal.
have a phase change where there's I think where things start to get more damaging, but it's more like
Yes,
there's phase 1 versus phase 2 where everything just hits harder. And so you
exactly.
might have to rely on those potions to get up a little bit
Oh no,
more cuz healing gets hard. Yeah.
oh no, yeah. Especially with everything that's going on and everything like that, relying on those potions is very very ideal because especially if you let's say you get knocked down and then you get back
Mhm.
up again and you're never gonna okay never mind. But when you get back up or you get res or whatnot, use those potions because that is an instant full health instead of relying on the healers. Healers are already dealing with trying to keep the tanks up or whatnot. Use those potions. They are a lifesaver and a time savers for the healers and whatnot. So
Oh, big time. And I actually went in my first 5 runs through the content was as a sage. So I learned the fight as a healer, which as you know is a little unusual for me. Normally I'm tanking. So that was a completely different experience for me. Um it and yeah, once we finally reminded everybody in the group, it's like, hey, just make sure that you remember that you can use your potions to heal up because it did I was having to overheal a bit to keep everybody up because there's a certain like I think there's a bleed effect or there's some other damage over time effect. Or just it hits that hard because
yeah,
my goodness, it just hits that hard. But it's a lot of fun. I want to go back in. I want to go back in. I want to
I've
go back
been
in.
I've been going back in there once or twice a day. Since the event dropped.
So what's your take on the weapons and the gear?
So
Because I'll be
I
honest with you, it's not my flavor. But
no, I
what
and
about you?
I understand that. And so the gear, well, yeah, the uh not the weapons, but yeah, the gear itself is pretty much the starting gear in Wild. There's the
Okay.
male and female version of it, quote unquote. There's no gender lock on the gear. You can pick whatever headpiece,
I
chest
was
piece,
really
whatever
happy
you
to
want.
learn that.
So yeah, even though it says male, female, but it's not gender lock whatsoever. So that's always a plus. Um, I like it. I like it. It's the starting set. I don't mind it at all. Mainly because if you go into more essentially at that point, you're pretty much pick and choosing which set that you want to bring out. And I highly doubt you want to bring like the art bound set out because it is pretty cool looking. And then when I do stream my next attempt on Omega and whatnot, I you will see that set. It is pretty cool.
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh.
when it comes to the weapons, I like the style for a good majority of the weapons. The feel of it, some of the additional effects to it, especially at the base level, because you can upgrade them when you go to extreme and gather what is it, the documents or something like
Yeah,
that.
there's like the scrolls or something
Yeah.
that you get.
So you collect the scrolls, you can upgrade the weapons to 740, no 760. The base one is 745.
So for
Uh,
clarification for people who are curious, apparently the way that it's breaking down is yes, the item level, if you are looking for a quick and easy way to get your high item level items without having to do a tombstone grind or without having to do any kind of like, heavy grinding through a cult crescent or anything like that for relics, then you can get a relic equivalent weapon off of the Monster Hunter crossover event, which that is epic. It is so epic that they're giving people who maybe don't have the time to sit, because it was a grind. It was a heck of a grind to get through the initial starting, relic layers, as it were,
yeah.
to be able to get all of those pieces and to get everything together and start on getting all of your relics. And you do this now, granted it's what, 20 times you'd have to, if you're like me and Houka and live that crazy all 100 life.
22?
But even still,
Is it 22 deaths
it
right now?
it's it depends on whether or not you count Blue Mage, which does not count for this content, by the way. I think it's 21. Trying to remember 4, 8, 6. Yeah, I think it's 21. 21 jobs.
21, 22 if you count Blue Mage, but it's 21 if
Yeah,
you can.
it's
Yeah.
21 jobs. So you run this event, this crossover event fight 21 times, and you will have all of the weapons that you need at 745 to equate to a relic weapon, and that's actually pretty epic because it can go really fast.
Yes. And then, like we said earlier, like you collect enough documents, you can upgrade the base weapon to 760. Yeah, 760.
Yeah,
So
760, and that is equivalent. It is literally equivalent to the relics.
so good.
Isn't that wild? It's
So
wild.
good. Oh, it's really wild. A Monster Hunter wild. Hey.
Hey, but yeah, no, the thing that I will mention about it, though, as an aside, for those people who are a little bit glam like myself, is it's not dyeable. The weapon is what it is. The model stays the same whether it is augmented or unaugmented. And the one that you get
Mhm.
from the normal fight, of course, is the unaugmented version. And then you have to go through the process of going through the extreme fight to be able to augment it.
Which I am willing to do. Uh,
Right. I understand. I mean, especially when you look at like, okay, so the equivalent relic grind, all right, is not only having to go through that quest line where you had to get all of the little uh demi atmas, right?
yeah.
And that took me a week to just get those.
Oof.
And then it's 1,500 tomestones per weapon
I'm sorry, what?
just to get the weapon in the first place. That's a
What?
lot. Yeah, it's 1,500 per. And then it's another 1,500 to upgrade it. But that's only after you have to go through a process of buying, if you buy it all off the market board, by the way, or craft it yourself or whatever, it's still a minimum of around 300,000 to gil to up to 5 million gil, depending on where you are and where you're buying all the stuff.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that's a huge investment to have to get all that. And then after you turn all of that in, it's still another 1,500 per. So it's up to 3,000 tomestones per weapon that you get as a relic.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. It is a lot.
That is, oh my goodness. I'm like just trying to do the math in my head. I'm like, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I have not even gotten, like, I've gotten all of my tanks, all of my healers relics, and I've gotten like one or two here and there
Mm-hmm.
for other jobs, but no, I'm nowhere near complete because I have so many other things. I don't have time to sit down and just do roulettes, because the most efficient way to get that amount of tomestones is to have to sit down and do roulettes.
Yeah.
However, I have a new way to get a ton of tomestones, and that's deep dungeons. It was a year ago that the forces of the internet came together to form a crew of such epic, amazing power. It echoes through time
Violet?
and space.
Violet, what are you talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about the Heather Just Play community.
Oh, you mean the gaming community that founded a 501c nonprofit organization to help people of all ages and background have a supportive environment to explore personal growth through play? The Heather Just Play community?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, why did you say it all spooky then?
It's the 1-year anniversary of HJP, and it's spooky season. I thought it was appropriate.
Violet, there's nothing spooky about HAP. It's a welcoming, fun environment, even a void creature. I mean, introverts like us.
Hey, that means it might be great for everyone.
It absolutely is. If you're looking for an online community center vibe with a supportive group of people, please visit heatherjustplay.org to learn more.
Okay, so Deep Dungeons is a whole mode of gameplay within Final Fantasy XIV that I don't know how many people have experienced. I know that recently we just took you through the first, 30 floors of Palace of the Dead?
Yes.
Okay. We
Because
finished. Like, we got to get you your floor 50. Once you get your floor 50 clear on Palace of the Dead, it kind of operates like an intro to Deep Dungeons and how that kind of like they basically function, because most of them are built on kind of the same functionality, even though they have like extra bits, right?
okay, yeah.
So the idea is that it is essentially a dungeon delver mode. There's like a whole story quest line that goes along with each one. The one for, if you're really into, like, if you like Halloween spooky stuff,
Uh-huh.
the quest line for Palace of the Dead, it's good. It's real good.
Yeah, I got to a point where I'm seeing someone and I'm like, why are you creepy like that?
Right? It's so Like, I don't want to spoil any of the story for anyone, so I'm not going to go into any of that. So instead, we're just going to talk about the mechanics of how the system works. So for Palace of the Dead, and I'm just going to do a very brief overview. You have your first 50 floors, and then that opens up the world of Deep Dungeons. It is a dungeon delver situation where every single floor that you go to is completely random. It has random enchantments or no enchantments. The placement of chests, map, all of it is randomized, and it's sort of like a what is the new thing? It's I can't think the word is not coming to me at the moment, but it's basically each floor has something different to it. So you're gonna you have, and it's grouped into 10 floors or 10 levels at a time that you work your way through the floors to find the exit, and then once you've gotten to the exit, you get to the next floor, and so on and so forth. Through that, you are gathering different coffers will show up. There are bronze coffers, silver coffers,
Mm-hmm.
and gold coffers. Bronze coffers usually have either a specialty shard, like in Palace of the Dead, it's the Gelmorin shard.
Mm-hmm.
And that is presumably, like, when you go to art like sites where it's like, ancient people lived here, and you would have like shards of pottery or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
like archaeological sites. That's
Yeah.
the
Okay.
word.
Hey, there we go.
Archaeological.
I was trying to think of it. Like, I know.
Brain.
No, I'm like thinking in my head. I'm like, I know what she's talking about. I know the word,
Right.
what she's trying to say. What's that word? Like, even I was just sitting here going, why
Right.
can I not
What?
think of
What
it?
is-
And my son is a huge Jurassic Park fan, so like I should have known this like from the get go.
right. Archaeological site. There's also, and roguelike. It is the roguelike experience in Final Fantasy XIV. Yoshi P has mentioned several times before that he's a huge fan of Diablo. I personally think that this is the content that was kind of inspired by Diablo. So if you've ever
Yes.
played that, it's very, very similar in that every single time you go into like a dungeon area or you go into whatever, it's always a different map. It's always a little bit different. There's some similarities, of course. There's like different zones. The music changes, the lighting will change, the environment changes. It's really cool.
At the cow
It's
level.
a content at the cow level.
At the cow level. Or some variation of a cow level. It doesn't have to be cows.
Um, well, actually, in Heaven on High, there are some similar things to that. It's actually kind of cool. But yeah, there's some wild stuff in these deep dungeons. But okay, so the Palace of the Dead is the most basic version of the deep dungeon, and it's a very roguelike experience. You're kind of sneaking through and trying to kill mobs, get to the exit, get to the next floor, get your treasures, get out. And one of the things that out of the bronze coffers, like I said, drops the Gelmorin shards. You also get things like Phoenix Down and potions that are appropriate for the level. The leveling system is completely and wholly separate from your normal leveling system. So when you go into Palace of the Dead for the very first time, you are reset to level 1.
Oh no. We're
Yeah, I
scratch
know. It's a
again.
whole, you got to start all over. It is also a really great leveling way. Like, if you've got any low level characters or anything or jobs that you want to try to pump up a little bit, go try out Palace of the Dead, because the leveling system gives you a chunk of XP based on your experience in Palace of the Dead. And because your Aether pool, which is your arms and armor, which is also kept separate, um, is pumped up overall and saved to your character, you can then go in with multiple different jobs and essentially just go through Palace of the Dead and level up that way.
Oh wow.
And then so you get to build up your Aether pool. pretty quickly. And the maximum Aether pool for each deep dungeon is 99 arms, 99 armor. So once you get to 99, that's your defense and that's your attack. And you are pretty much top tier for everything. You can blow through all the lower levels. And then once you get to that top end, that's when you have to start actually like treating it like a roguelike again and actually start to sneak through. Palace of the Dead is unique in that it has a cutoff of 50 floors instead of 30 for the rest of them. But once you get to your 50th floor and you've cleared that boss, then you've cleared the storyline for Palace of the Dead. And so therefore you can always return and pick it up from floor 51 onwards. And it
Okay.
has 200 total floors.
I'm sorry, what?
200 floors. Yes, 200 floors of lovely, delicious, randomized content for you to enjoy with a party of up to 4 people. Now, notice I said up to 4. That means that if it's just you and a buddy and you just want to go do something where you are doing your grind for your deep dungeons, you can go in by yourself. You can go in with one other person, 3 people, 4 people. 4 people, of course, is going to give you the most supported and easiest experience, but
Yeah.
there is a huge community of people who do this as solo content.
Oh, which I attempted a long time ago, and I'm like, yeah, this is
It's
taking
hard.
forever. Yeah, it's taking forever to beat one enemy, let alone 2 to 3 at the same time. Like, yeah, I don't belong here.
But we went in recently when it was just 4
Yes.
of us, and we were able to blow through a lot faster. You were able to build up your Aether pool. They have updated Palace of the Dead so that now that instead of whenever you open a silver chest, which silver coffers were the way that you increase your Aether pool and your Aether gear, um, they used to just do that, and there was no other reason to open a silver chest ever. Once you got your Aether pool to 99 of 99, you're like, I have no reason to open this chest. And half of them are trapped, so there's a very good reason not to. Well, in the new content, they decided to add your incense, which is how you access the special abilities.
Oh, okay.
And so now you have a reason to open up that silver coffer even beyond when you have reached your max level. Gold coffers, of course, yield pomanders. Pomanders are like special potions that have different effects. Some of the most common ones just increase your strength, and they increase your defense. Others will do things like cure you of a special disease called the pox. The pox is a 9-minute long bleed that can be healed through, but it's rough when you get mobbed by a bunch of things all at once.
Wait,
So
did you
it's
say
best to clear
9 minutes?
9 minutes. Like, yeah, it's a lot.
If you can see my face right now, like I'm
I
like face
know, I
palming at
know,
the
I
moment.
know, I
Like
know, I
I'm
know.
just thinking in my head,
I know it
nine
doesn't sound
minutes.
like it, but yeah, that's the whole reason why Palace of the Dead enthusiasts will hoard their purity potions or pomanders is because they know the pox is coming. Now, fortunately, the main way that you get the pox is from fight. If you open a gold chest, there's a percentage chance that that chest is a mimic, and the mimic is a particular mob that conveys the pox. But it is an interruptible spell. So if you're a tank or if you are ranged, um, or you are someone who is a clever caster who can use their sleep spell, you can in fact interrupt that cast. It's called infatuation for anybody who wants to make a note. Um, so you go through, you open chests, you gather a bunch of pomanders, you all of your pomanders are saved to your fixed party. So the whole of the Palace of the Dead and the whole deep dungeon system is separate from the leveling system and the rest of the way that Final Fantasy XIV works. So it's almost like a different game within a game.
Yeah, and yeah, when you guys were running me through it just recently and whatnot, I'm just sitting going, this is so much easier with a group of friends, and I love it.
Right?
And you know, it was really. I think we could have kept on going and going into
Oh, yeah.
new content if it wasn't for another event that we had to go through. But no, I for someone who is now going through this for the first time and whatnot. I've
Right.
been like reading more about deep dungeons and everything
Mhm.
like that. So I'm like really super excited to get to floor 50 in Palace of the Dead just to get to the new content and then possibly go back to Palace of the Dead and get to floor 200. And
Oh,
so,
yeah. Oh, yeah. It gets really interesting, especially once you cross that floor 100 line.
uh-huh.
Now, you only get 2 saves. So, the way that the deep dungeons work is that it is very, like, old school roguelike games
Mhm.
where you have or dungeon delver games. You have 2 saves. Um, your save is pretty much fixed. If you ever die on your run, you basically have to reset to what is essentially a save point. So, until you clear floor 50, you don't have a save point other
Oh.
than if you die. So if you don't die, you're fine. You can come out. You've saved your progress. You're good. But you have to have that exact team of people to go finish it, or you have to start over.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's old school. It is old school.
which
So,
which I like because I have played what's I played Hades before. I enjoyed that. There's
yeah,
also
yeah, it's
there's also a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles roguelike game that I really enjoyed that I played with a couple of my real life buddies as well. I
oh
enjoyed that a
nice.
lot. Yeah, so I want to tackle that by
Yeah.
myself to see how it is and whatnot. But
Okay.
um,
Yeah, it's one of those things where I suggest personally that if you're wanting to do a solo run of Palace of the Dead, that you at least find a group of people, and you can in fact find through there's like a raid finder function, so you can find people who are randomly matching up together to go and do Palace of the Dead,
okay,
or any of the deep dungeons. So don't feel like you have to go in by yourself. In fact, I suggest, especially until you get to the point where you're at least at like 60, so you've got like 60 arms verse and 60 gear, 60 armor. So at least to that point, like right before the crossover, because there's a changeover. The gear and or your gear is just your gear, but your arms, which is your weapon, is a specialty looking weapon. For Palace of the Dead, it's basically just a silhouette with a massive glow. So your first weapon essentially looks like, say for instance, if you're a rogue, it's 2 knives, but it's just 2 basic knives that are white glowing, like double fang situation. It's cool looking, but once you cross that 60 point, then it turns red and you get an ash particle effect that comes off of it.
oh, then nice,
It's
nice.
really cool. Heaven on High has something similar. Eureka Orthos also has something similar. And of course we have something very similar in the latest deep dungeon that came out. Palace of the Dead is the classic. Everybody has to cross floor 50 and finish the story of Palace of the Dead to get access to all of the other deep dungeons. So if you've never crossed floor 50 on Palace of the Dead, unfortunately the content past that is kind of locked out to you,
Yep, and which
which
we
does
discovered,
kind of suck.
which we discovered the
Right,
other
as we
day.
discovered, yeah. A lot of people who want to try this new deep dungeon are kind of discovering that, which is, yeah, it is the one like sucky downside, but they did improve the Palace of the Dead. In that now when you open a silver chest, you get a +5 to your arm and armors, or arm and yeah, so your weapon and your gear that's dependent upon the Palace of the Dead winds up being improved +5 every single time you open. And
Okay.
then every single boss that you kill, which happens every 10 floors, you get 10. So you can max out your Aether pool in Palace of the Dead now super fast.
Super fast.
Super fast. So that's a very good thing. I haven't seen any changes. They're debating now on whether or not they're going to make these changes that they've made to the new deep dungeon and retroactively apply them, because some of the new changes is, you remember I told you that 50 is your save point, so you have to
Yes.
cross the 50 boss.
Yeah.
That is a hard save point, by the way. That is the only hard save point for Palace of the Dead, and I've had some moments with it, I'll just say, because there's nothing like making it to floor 150 and being so close, and then you die, and then you die, and you gotta start all over. Sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
yeah. That's got to be rough. I'm just sitting here going to start all over again. I'm like,
yeah, you gotta start
oh.
all over. It is a fun time to do the content, but I have to admit, sometimes I have I've had to have a little bit of a cry. Just a little bit of a cry over
You sit
losing my progress.
laying down in
And
the corner somewhere, just like,
just like all right, but yeah, but it's still a good time, especially with friends. Heaven, but here's the thing that winds up being changed to the new deep dungeon. We have a lot more save points.
yes.
So we have a save point at 31, which is where the main story is done. There is a save point at 51, 71, and then from there you have the 71 to 100 run. The 71 to 100 run is where you're going to be dealing with all of the top end really hard content. I have not gotten there yet because I have not had a chance to, with life and everything else. I have still, every single time I log on, I want to do this dungeon. It is beautiful. It is so much fun. And let me tell you about how it's different and how it has added to some of the fun. So we took you through the Palace of the Dead before, so you have a little bit of an idea of like how they work. You're running through, you're grabbing um chests, you're killing mobs. There's a certain amount of murder, as it were, that has to happen for you to be able to open your passages to the next floor. And that's just true of how all deep dungeons work. So Heaven on High works the same, Eureka Orthos, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Um but you don't have to start a fight most of the time unless it's necessary for you to open up that passage. Uh the thing is that in Heaven on High they added a new thing, which is where you can pick up 3 different, so on top of the pomanders that you get that have different effects, you also wind up with things called Orosites. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's Eureka Orthos, but there's basically in Heaven on High, it's bits and pieces of like Garuda and Titan, and it's all pieces of the primals, and they all have different effects. But most of what they will do is they'll basically clear out an entire floor. Like they'll kill all of the mobs on an entire floor for you,
Kill
so you
them
can just go run
all.
around, grab all the chests. I know, right? It's so cool to watch it happen too. Heaven on High also introduced some very cool things, like you have wide open floors, no walls. It's just like being in the biggest, scariest school gymnasium ever.
No, not
And
the
you
school
see all of these
gym.
I know. the school gym of monsters wandering around everywhere. It's hilarious. But then if you pop one of those, like you do a Garuda on one of those floors, and you just watch all of them have the air sucked out of their lungs, and they just fall over, and you're just like, oh, "This is epic, right?" It's wild. So, um, but yeah, but the whole concept kind of works very similar. That's pretty much the only like addition to that Heaven on High put in. And of course, you have their true treasure, because you have to have treasure. Like why are you doing this if you don't get treasure?
I know, right?
So there's the accursed hoard. So the accursed hoard is a special spot on some floors, not all, but some floors, where if you stand there long enough, a golden chest will appear. Not like the normal gold chest. It's called a banded coffer. And it basically looks like it's all gold except with like a jade inlay.
Okay.
And you open it up, and it gives you, in Palace of the Dead, you have, I think it's iron sacks, and then silver sacks, and then gold sacks, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's where, when you get to your silver and gold, that's where you have access to some of the rare mounts and minions that drop, as well as like a bunch of other like rare, housing and other items. So if you're looking for your treasure, you need the silver and the gold sacks.
Okay.
So when you gather those, you come out, and there's someone who will essentially appraise your sack. It's not as dirty as it sounds, I promise.
Sure, we'll go with that.
And what they'll do is they'll essentially, cleanse it of its accursed properties. And then you get your items out of it. Most of the time, especially with the low level stuff, you're mostly getting like materia, or you're getting like old glam items from like way back when. And some of them are very cool, and some of them are kind of meh. And then there's like a bunch of consumables, things like that. But it's still like you're like, "Ooh, I found treasure. Tell me what treasures I have found." And I kind of love that personally. It's really fun. The Now, Heaven on High included the whole, extra process of being able to get the different Garuda and everything. And then when you got to Eureka Orthos, they included it's essentially the demi clones. So like when you go through the Crystal Tower, there are certain NPCs that are clones, and so basically you get little clones or whatever. Um this one, if you have made it to Shadowbringer, there is a certain fae that we wind up being connected to that then becomes summonable for different effects,
Ooh.
which is super fun.
I love her, by the way.
Oh, me too. I don't want to go into it for anybody who hasn't been there. Spoilers,
I
spoilers.
know.
But
Love her.
but you get to have a much more intimate and constant relationship. Oh, and we learn a lot more about the Fae, which is really fun. I enjoyed that whole thing a lot. But now we've got a new mechanic that they've added in, which this is probably the thing that has been keeping me coming back over and over and over to this deep dungeon. And it's the votive candelabra. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were about to say they brought back Hilda. Damn. Damn. Bring back Hilda.
Okay, I know where your brain went, but no, not there. So, what it is there's a votive candelabra that you can find on not every floor, but most floors, or many floors. And what you do is you activate it, and at the lower floors, like from one or stone one, they call it the stone. So you have to traverse the pilgrim's stone, and you have to say it like that, just so you know. Um, and so once you've traversed through, you find these votive candelabras in this grand, beautiful environment, and you click on them, and they give you a different effect for the next stone that you get to. So, for instance, there's one that essentially turns you into one of those big, giant, flaming guys. So when we went through the one dungeon where you have like the big watery dudes that go blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a fire version, and
Ooh.
yeah, and basically the ability that you get is that so long as you are transformed, you can float yourself into a room, activate your ability, and it basically kills everyone in the room in fiery death. And I love it.
Oh wow.
It's like everything goes boom.
Are you sure it's not a bomb?
Oh, it's huge. It's amazing. Okay, so there's another one that turns you into a mud ball, which you would think, why am I a ball of mud? But it gives you this ability to essentially dash forward, and you can essentially slam into mobs, and they wind up getting pushed back with such force that they all instantly die.
Oh, nice.
It's so fun. And so there's like a bunch of those different fun effects. There's one that makes you go so fast. You are like running at flash super speed through the entirety of the thing. It doesn't just increase your running speed, by the way, it also increases your attack speed.
Oh, oh, that's awesome. I feel
So
like
yeah,
I feel like someone's been reading a lot of DC comics or something. Like
I know it's
that.
wild. It's wild. I love it so much because the different effects are random. You don't know what you're going to get, and then once you get past floor 31, which is where your cap for your low or your learning levels are essentially.
Uh-huh.
Well, then you get the chance of maybe it's a positive effect, maybe it's a negative effect. So now you have to strategize. Do I start this? Do I activate this votive candelabra or not?
Oh. So it's
Mhm.
pretty much a gamble per se. Just
Right.
a oh.
It becomes a gamble as to whether or not you're getting a positive effect or whether or not you're getting a negative effect or whether or not you're getting even a manageable negative effect. Some of those negative effects are pretty gnarly. The boss mechanics, the bosses have been beautiful. I'm telling you, the aesthetics for this, 20 out of 10. I am in love with it. In fact, probably the most dangerous thing about the deep dungeon at this point to me is that I will get caught up looking at the environments. And if you loved Shadowbringer environments, not necessarily the story, but the environments, this is the deep dungeon for you because it is entirely beautiful, just entirely.
Oh, I cannot wait to go in there because I love Shadowbringers.
Oh,
I absolutely love it. I love the story from beginning to end. But that's just me though. I know not a lot of people was it.
I mean, everybody has their own personal opinions on
Yeah.
different things. Like, but this is it's totally right up my alley. I love it so much. The weapons that you get out of it. Now, here's the thing: there is a process for each deep dungeon. If you like the weapon for a glam that you get while you're in the deep dungeon, you can spend some of your aether pool to get what is called an aether pool grip. It costs 10 aether pool per grip, and you need 3 of them to make a weapon.
Okay.
So you build up your aether pool, you spend 30 of it, you get your own weapon that you can now use for glam outside of the deep dungeon. And then you just go back in and you just build it back up.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. At this point, from what I've seen from the silver chests in the new deep dungeon, they decided to tier it. So when you are 1 to 30, you get 1 aether pool per chest. But when you go 30 to 40, you get 2
Oh.
aether pool per chest. So as you're going up, you actually have more and more chance to build more and more aether pool, making it even easier and more viable for you to get those weapons as glam items. And they are beautiful glam items because
Oof.
if you love stained glass and you love like rainbow stained glass, gorgeous. You would in particular to die for that red mage weapon.
Oh,
If
is it that? Oh, I need to see it.
we'll take you in to see it. If you can check the 7.3 patch notes to get an idea of what some of those weapons look like. There's a photo there of the different weapons. The thing I love even more, if you're a big fan of story, the story here is even better than any of the other deep dungeons, because most of them, the story ends at your first like save point, essentially.
Oh,
There's
okay.
like this one actually has like an additional story on top of it to explain why you have multiple more levels that you're going into. I'm not spoiling that story or anything, but there's like a whole side quest that explains like what you're dealing with and why it's there, which I love.
So it's not like in Palace of the Dead where like was it the 20th floor or something like that where you meet someone mysterious, there's no dialogue or anything, it's just they're just staring at you or watching you going through the
Well,
dungeons
that's
or
actually
whatnot.
part of the main story that actually you deal with, which
Okay.
Palace of the Dead directly relates to a hard dungeon in ARR. There's it's all optional quest stuff, so I don't know how far like I can go into it. But there's I think a blue quest that you go into, trying to remember the name of the dungeon. But yeah, it's one of the level 50 hard dungeons that's like spooky. Um
It's not the mansion, is it?
no, it's not the mansion.
Oh no, that's not even level 50.
It's
That's oh
um
god. I know what you're talking
it's the
about.
one
Yeah.
where you have to like protect the Lalafell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
one.
And you remember at the end, there's a woman who's standing in a puddle that you have to deal with mobs. This is like a whole thing I don't want to get into. Details that some people may or may not have access to, but there's a cutscene that happens if you've never done that story before that leads directly into the Palace of the Dead storyline.
I gotcha. Okay.
Right. So all of that is interconnected. And by the way, that's one of the things I absolutely love about this game is how interconnected everything can be and how it's all like there's a story to every single bit of it. It's great. All right. So in the new deep dungeon, we've got that explication, and it very much is related to the overall story of Shadowbringer, but it's like it's also kind of bringing in story elements to explain where we're at near the end of Dawn Trail. So, um the thing that's great about this content also is that it is leveling content. So if you have any jobs that are around 90, 91 that you want to find a really fun way to level, take them into the new deep dungeon once you've cleared floor 50 of Palace of the Dead. And while you're going through the independent leveling system in the new Pilgrim's Traverse, you will also be leveling your jobs. You If you are max level, you get 60 heliometry and 40 mathematics for every set of 10 floors that you clear.
Oh, nice.
So if you're looking for a really good way to be able to grind out your tomestones, this is an excellent way to do it. And it's a lot of fun because you got a lot of really cool like drops and things that you can get. There's lots of wonderful new mounts and minions. There's probably one of the coolest umbrellas in the game.
Yeah, I saw that and I
Because
want that.
I know, right? And
Well,
it
I don't
comes
I don't
in
I don't mean I
two
don't mean
different
in game.
colors.
Yeah, I don't mean in game. I mean they need to release that in real life.
I know, right? I want to buy that. I want to buy that. I want to buy that. I want that umbrella. I want it to rain just so I can use it. I love it so much. Now, of course, we've got things like adventure plates and all of these other like bits and bobs and things that we can get. Just the addition of the votive candelabra is sort of like a random element from one to the next. Also, one of the things I like about it is that Eureka Orthos suffered from because we didn't get a deep dungeon in Shadowbringer.
Uh-huh.
So when they tried to retool it, they wanted it to be something that felt more difficult because they were starting at level 80 or 81 for Eureka Orthos. And while it was actually quite well tooled for individuals, and a lot of solo players for like deep dungeons have been able to get through Eureka Orthos relatively easily compared to some of the other deep dungeons. The deep dungeons are some of the hardest solo content in the game. But they retooled it in such a way in which the group content was actually harder.
Oh, really?
It was really weird. So, there's also there's no leveling period. Like there was like the minute that you get in here, we're going hard. We're going hard, right?
And we're not
They went back
stopping.
to you don't get to try to build up. So they went back to the other way of doing it with the new deep dungeon where the first 30 floors is more of a ramp up.
Okay.
So you kind of get used to how things work. And then from there forward, it gets harder and harder more progressively as you go on.
Just like most things.
Right. A little bit more like, not a drop off into the ocean. You're just like actually ramping up in difficulty, which is nice. The other thing I love about it is that we now have now we're going to talk about the thing that I haven't gotten to do personally yet, but I'm so excited for, and that is quantum.
What is quantum?
Okay.
Like quantum,
Okay.
like
So
the show Quantum Leap?
apparently what it is it's a 5 type so you have 5 different types of turn-ins that you can give that will change the boss mechanics of the final boss of the Pilgrim's Traverse Deep Dungeon.
Okay.
So the last fight is called the final verse.
Ooh.
Okay, so the final verse, the normal fight, of course, is somewhere in difficulty around an extreme fight. They changed the mechanics pretty drastically because one of the big problems with a lot of the other deep dungeons is there's no prog point. If you get to the last boss and you fail, you have to start over from your save point.
Ooh.
Yeah, so imagine you have worked your way up with your team to floor 200 of Palace of the Dead, and this is the first time you've ever seen that fight. It is a extreme level fight, and you fail because that's just how progress works. That's just how learning it works, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you have to start over from floor 51.
I would probably quit that altogether if that
Oh,
happens.
yeah, it's definitely it's a tearful situation to get that high up, and it's it's a lot. It's a lot.
I
It's a
I
lot.
would I would literally turn off the game and probably go to bed afterwards.
Like a few emotional change, like a little. Yeah. Anyway, so
Why
it's a
you
lot.
do this to me?
Right? Why video game? Why? Yeah. So it's a lot. But they have decided to address that. So now if you there's only 100 floors for Pilgrim's Traverse because they've gone to the more Heaven on High Eureka Orthos model. So you get to floor 99, which is where your first attempt at that boss comes in,
Uh-huh.
right? If you fail it, you can from that point forward always go directly to floor 99 to prog the fight.
Ooh.
So that is, as far as I'm concerned, that's revolutionary. That is genius.
Yeah.
That we can now, once you've made it there, that's your save point. Now, granted, it is just for progging the fight. So you go and you prog the fight, you get your muscle memory, you know how to do the thing. And then you start your true run, which is go back to 71, and then you get through your floors to get to the fight again. And then, but now that you've progged through it and you know how to get through the fight, you can then clear your floor 100, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's already an extreme level fight, but with Quantum, which is what gets unlocked the first time you clear, you now have the ability to um give sacramental offerings. So as you're going through and you have certain horde, accursed horde that is cleared by the Fey priest or whatever to be able to use, you'll get things like sacramental wine, sacramental, food, sacrament, just different sacraments that can be added as offerings. If you have any history in Catholicism, you're very familiar with this whole process. It's a reference to that. And the more of those that you add into the total of 40, if you give 40, which is an even amount from every single type of offering, I think it's since it's 5, it's 8 per.
Okay.
It changes the mechanic, or it makes each type of mechanic more difficult.
Huh.
So if you want to go through the ultimate fight, the final verse Quantum ultimate, you would basically give all 40 offerings from each one of the different 5 types, one of 5 types, and you get the ultimate version of that boss.
Ooh.
Now, if you want to get something that's maybe like Extreme Plus, or you want to see like maybe what it's like with like, maybe more mechanics, but enough health that you can kind of knock it down, or you want to see what it's like with fewer mechanics, but more health, whatever your challenge level wants to be, that is the type of offering that you give it. And that will change the mechanics accordingly in the fight.
Ooh, that's something I would love to do one day.
I know,
Most
right?
definitely.
Oh yeah.
Because it for me, I love a good challenge, especially in like MMOs and whatnot. Just like I want like yes, they're like the daily grind of like doing roulettes and do all this stuff or whatnot. That tends to get boring or whatnot. But give me something like this, where it's like it progresses. You have something to work towards and whatnot, and it's really really challenging. Oh, it makes my blood boil. Like just thinking about it, like
It's
ah, the
the
fizz.
excitement. Oh, I want it so bad. Also, for those people who maybe enjoyed the Il Meg experience, or the particular experience of Shadowbringer, there are an awful lot of items that are very connected to that are
Okay.
super exciting. There's a certain minion, I won't go on about it, but oh my god, I want it so bad. Um, each deep dungeon, and this is probably the most fun aspect of each deep dungeon, there are traps on the floor, right? You
Yeah.
cannot see the traps most of the time unless you use a palm ender that reveals the traps on the floor. However, there's one trap in particular for each deep dungeon that is very specific to that deep dungeon, and that is a transformation trap. In Palace of the Dead, you are transformed into a toad.
Yes. Which I
You
have,
get toaded.
which I have seen you guys get
Uh-huh.
toted. I don't think
Oh
I
yeah.
have yet. And I say yet because I know eventually I will get there.
Oh, it'll happen. It'll happen. The more deep dungeon you do, it will definitely happen. And then in Heaven on High, you turn into an otter.
An otter.
you're a little otter carrying your little lantern, and you got your little hat. It's hilarious. I love it so much. And then in Eureka Orthos, you turn into a little blue owl, and you go hooting around. And the thing is that it is technically a punishment, though it is such a delightful punishment, that I can't be mad at it every single time it happens. It's so cute. In the new one, you turn into a fairy.
Oh.
It's so fun. Now, of course, it is still a punishment. You don't have access to any of your abilities, and if you're the tank, it is particularly punishing because if you got aggro in any mobs, they're still aggroed to you.
And you just sit there and like, well,
I
at least I
guess I
look
get to
pretty.
take this now. Yeah. But yeah, so I love that you get to turn into a fairy. There's a lot of different uh incense. This is if you have Catholic religious trauma, maybe trigger warning for this particular deep dungeon, because there is incense that you use, um and when you activate it, it calls forth the Fey King to come and help you in certain different ways. I don't want to spoil the entire things because quite frankly it is so much fun, and discovering it for yourself is part of the most fun about it. So I think that I have gushed about deep dungeons to the point where I'm about to lose my voice, but it is so much fun. I'm probably going to be starting a content farm. I've already got a group, me and the deep dungeon delvers. It's me, Rent, and my wife Freya, and of course Arcana all come together, and we are doing Palace of the Dead right now, but we've moved on to trying through the new deep dungeon, and it has been a blast. In between, I've been grabbing both fixed parties and mixed parties. One note about fixed parties versus mixed parties is matched groups, which is where you use the raid finder or the deep dungeon finder to find other people to work with you, does have limitations based on your aether pool level. So you may not be able to find a matched group depending on what your aether pool level is. So just kind of keep an eye on that. But if you're with a fixed group, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. The limitations are removed. It's mainly just to make sure that you are tall enough for the ride, essentially. That when you get matched up with people, that they're not like prepared for quantum and you're back here going, what? What is going on? Yeah, so that's the only reason why like the match parties work that way.
Gotcha.
So I of course recommend it as group content. Find your friends, go try out the new deep dungeon. I highly recommend it. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And if you're not into,
I cannot wait
I
to
want
go
to
in
take
there
you,
with you guys.
it's gonna be so fun. The if you're looking for someone and you're to hit up in the community to take you through Palace of the Dead, I know that there are a lot of us that have done Palace of the Dead before. I'm probably going to be doing some runs to help people get their floor 50 on Palace of the Dead so that they can get into the new deep dungeon content, try it out. Um, if you out there in internet land beyond the void would like to join a community of people who can help you through that, might I suggest the heatherjustplay.org community. We have a Discord. You can get the link off of heatherjustplay.org. And you can also get more details about our organization. Thank you so much for listening.
And may all your Aetherite travels be free.